Now, for over 30 years, Dave Grohl has carved out a career that can only be described as legendary.
He started out in 1986, a fresh-faced 17-year-old drummer for the band Scream. Then in 1990, Dave Grohl signed on with the world's biggest act, Nirvana. And by 1994, the Foo Fighters were born. "16 Grammys, 9 studio albums, and a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction later, Dave Grohl is a certified rock god. And now Dave's mother, Virginia, is opening up about her son's journey from cradle to the stage. And what a thrill to say that Virginia Hanlon Grohl joins us now in the studio. Welcome back to Australia.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Now, look, I mean, your son, we were just saying, there's so many fans here in the studio, and myself and Sonia. I mean, he's one of the most famous people on the planet. In 2014, Nirvana inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So when you're seeing him after everything, you were laughing at younger photos of him before, and giggling at him just sort of starting out, and then seeing him go there. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was an incredible night. That was just, it surprised me. I mean, I knew what to expect. But when we got there and they just had this whole panel that said Nirvana across it, and Kurt's mother was there. I was a little worried about her, but she was great. She was fine during the whole thing. And it was such a celebration of that music. Yeah. And it was a brilliant night. Yeah. And then the fact that he chose women to sing Kurt's songs. Yeah. Was such a great touch. Yes. And a surprise, and it was wonderful. Yeah.
So, Virginia, your book, it isn't just about your relationship with your son, Dave.
Right.
You spent over 3 years collecting stories from other mothers of famous acts, Maroon 5, for example, Pharrell Williams. Just tell us who you spoke to and why.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get the mother's stories. I wanted to see what their lives had been like and how they led to this kind of phenomenon that's happened to them. And most of them said in the beginning, oh, there's nothing special about me. I'm just, you know, nothing much to say. But that turned out to be very wrong. They'd had really lots of stories to tell. I did Geddy Lee's mom, who spent her teenage years in a Nazi concentration camp. And so that affected his upbringing, certainly. Her values of fortitude and resilience and education and so on. And Tom Morello's mom was also an incredible mover and shaker, and she was an early voice against censorship in the United States.
Unsurprisingly, he's raised by an activist. You know,
but the thing is,
the
as I said in the book, she raged first.
Yeah, right.
She preceded his activism, and
you mentioned Pharrell's mom too.
Yes.
How was she?
She's lovely. She's very religious. She's a PhD. She's highly educated, and oh, there she is.
Yeah.
And they look so much alike.
Don't
they walk alike.
Really?
They hold themselves. They're both dancer-like in the way. Yeah.
And Adam Levine's mother from Maroon 5, I think you spoke to her too.
I did.
Yes.
We became really good friends.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a lot in common, besides having rock star sons in common. There were a lot of things in our backgrounds that were the same. Yeah. So, yeah, she was lovely.
Because I guess the thing you wanted to know was, were their children as driven as Dave was towards music? What did you discover?
Yes. They all were. The ones that I talked to have made it pretty far, and they all had that aspect of personality, just absolute determination.
Single-minded.
And exactly. And at a very early age. We discovered as mothers when we talked about it that they all made their minds up when they were 12.
Wow.
Just quickly, I want to touch on the fact that in the book you mentioned about the effect that Kurt Cobain's death from Nirvana had on the band, and how you had to sort of help them out with that, and the rest of that time, and the rest of the band at that time. What happened, and how did you help?
I don't know. It's hard to even make sense of that time. David came home, came from Seattle on the West Coast back to D.C. on the East Coast, just to sort things through, and I don't remember talking a lot about it, or I really don't remember all of that. But he eventually was able. He didn't even want to listen to music at first. He just yeah, and then eventually he came back into it. So it was shocking and horribly sad, and eventually everybody got back to it. David's playing a show. He might have played it last night in Seattle. The Foo Fighters are there sometime in the next day or two. I mean, it's a different day anyway.
Yeah, that's right. You've lost a day coming over.
I'm so confused. But Chris Novoselic has a band now too, and so he's going to open for David.
What an amazing event that's going to be for Nirvana fans as well. The book is called From Cradle to Stage. It's in all good bookstores now, and Virginia will be sharing more of her incredible stories at Brisbane's Big Sound Festival. Head to bigsound.org.au for more information.
Thank you, Virginia.
Thanks, Virginia. Lovely to see you.
Thanks so much. Enjoyed it.